In a distant galaxy, where stars sparkled like diamonds against the deep darkness of space, a war raged among various alien species. The fierce battles left many ships damaged and in need of urgent repairs. One such ship was the Stellar Hawk, a proud vessel of the Zyran fleet. Its captain, Kale, a strong but wise alien with emerald green skin, looked out from the bridge. The view was stunning, but Kale felt a sinking feeling in his heart. Just hours ago, they had faced an enemy attack that had left many of their ships in ruins. The Stellar Hawk had narrowly escaped, but the ship's engines were barely functioning, and the hull had multiple breaches. Kale knew that if they didn't find help soon, they would be stranded in the void of space. "Captain, our systems are failing," reported Lyra, the ship's engineer. Her bright purple eyes darted across the control panel, filled with warning lights. "We need to find a repair station fast." Kale nodded, his mind racing. The Zyran fleet had heard stories about a distant place where the ships of different species went for repairs. It was said to be run by humans, a species known for their creativity and quick thinking. But could they really trust them? "Prepare the ship for travel," Kale commanded, his voice steady despite the worry in his heart. "Set a course for the nearest human repair station." Lyra worked quickly, and within moments, the Stellar Hawk was ready. The ship's engines roared to life, but the sound was weak and shaky. Kale steered the ship through the stars, hoping they would reach the repair station before it was too late. As they approached the repair station called Earth's Embrace, Kale's heart raced. The station was massive, much larger than he had imagined. It was a floating structure filled with various ships from all over the galaxy. Aliens from different species wandered about, exchanging stories and laughter. "Look at all those ships!" Lyra exclaimed, her voice filled with awe. "They all look so different. How can we trust humans to repair us?" Kale glanced at her, understanding her fears. "Sometimes we must take risks to survive," he replied. "We have no other choice." When they docked, a human named Sam greeted them. He was short and had messy brown hair that stuck out in all directions. His uniform was stained with oil and grease, but his smile was warm and welcoming. "Welcome to Earth's Embrace," Sam said, extending his hand. "We're here to help you with whatever you need. Come on in." Kale felt a little uneasy but shook Sam's hand. It was different from the strong grips of his crew. Sam led them through the station, explaining how things worked. The humans were busy at work, using strange tools to fix various ships. Kale watched in amazement as they moved quickly, their hands flying over the machinery with skill and precision. "This is impressive," Kale admitted. "I didn't expect humans to be so capable." Sam laughed. "We might be small, but we have big ideas. Let's take a look at your ship." As they walked to the Stellar Hawk, Kale started to feel a sense of hope. Maybe these humans could really help them. When they reached the ship, Sam immediately began examining the damage. "Wow, you've got quite a bit of work ahead of us," Sam exclaimed, peering closely at the ship's hull. "But don't worry, we've handled worse." Kale felt a sense of relief. Maybe trusting the humans was the right decision after all. They had unique tools that looked like nothing Kale had seen before. Sam explained how they would use these tools to fix the ship. "We've got some spare parts and advanced technology that might do the trick," he said, a glint of excitement in his eyes. "We'll get you back in the fight in no time." Lyra watched closely, taking notes of the tools and techniques the humans were using. Kale appreciated her curiosity. It reminded him of the importance of learning and adapting. Just then, an alarm blared throughout the station, making everyone stop in their tracks. "Emergency! Emergency! Enemy ships detected," a voice announced over the loudspeaker. Panic swept through the repair station as aliens and humans scrambled for cover. Kale felt his heart race. "We need to get to the bridge," he shouted to Lyra and Sam. Together, they rushed to a control room, where a large screen displayed enemy ships approaching the station. "They're coming straight for us," Lyra yelled, her voice shaking with fear. Sam's face turned serious. "We need to defend this station. Humans might be small, but we're not defenseless. We can help." Kale's mind raced. They were in a strange place, and now they had to fight together. He turned to Sam and Lyra. "We'll show them what we can do. Humans and Xyrans together." As the enemy ships drew closer, Kale felt a strange sense of unity forming between them. The humans were ready to defend their home, and the Xyrans were ready to protect their new allies. They had only just met, but now they were all in this fight together. The battle was about to begin, and Kale knew they had to work together to survive. Would they make it through this fight? Could they trust each other enough to win? Only time would tell. The alarm continued to blare, echoing through Earth's embrace. Kale, Lyra, and Sam stood in the control room, watching the enemy ships approach on the large screen. The tension was thick in the air, and Kale felt a mix of fear and determination. "Okay, we need to act fast," Sam shouted, his eyes darting between the screens. "We can use the station's defense system to protect ourselves." Kale nodded. "What do we need to do?" Sam pointed to a panel filled with buttons. "We need to power up the energy shields. Can you help me with that?" Lyra quickly moved to assist, her hands flying over the controls. Kale could see how well they worked together, a blend of alien and human effort. Within moments, the energy shields hummed to life, casting a bright blue glow around the station. The enemy ships fired their weapons, but the blasts merely bounced off the shields, sending sparks flying. "Nice work," Kale cheered. "But we can't just hide here. We need a plan to fight back." Just then, a loud crash shook the station. An enemy ship had breached the outer defenses, causing chaos among the crew. Sam's face turned serious. "We have to defend this station and protect the repair bay. We can't let them destroy it." Kale agreed, feeling the urgency of the moment. "Let's take the fight to them. Show them what we can do." As they rushed out of the control room, Sam quickly explained the plan. "We'll split into teams. You and Lyra will help defend the repair bay, and I'll gather some humans to fortify the control center. Let's go." Kale and Lyra sprinted down the corridor, their hearts pounding with adrenaline. They could hear the sounds of battle echoing from outside. The sight that greeted them was chaotic. Alien ships firing at each other and humans rushing to defend their home. "Over here," Kale shouted, pointing to a group of humans and aliens working together to set up defenses in front of the repair bay. "Let's help them," Lyra said, her eyes shining with determination. Together, they joined the group, ready to fight. Kale quickly took charge, assigning roles to everyone. "We need to create a barrier to protect the repair bay. Lyra, can you use your skills to reinforce the hull? We need it strong." Lyra nodded, her confidence growing. She moved to the damaged sections of the hull, using her engineering knowledge to reinforce the structure. The humans watched in awe as she worked quickly, combining her expertise with their tools. "Wow, you're really good at this," a human named Jake said, clearly impressed. "Thanks," Lyra replied, smiling as she concentrated on her task. Kale felt a sense of pride watching her work. She was proving that Xyrans and humans could succeed together. Meanwhile, he focused on organizing the defenses. They stacked crates and metal panels to create a solid barrier. As they worked, Kale spoke to the humans. "We need to stay focused and fight as one. Together, we can protect our homes." With renewed energy, the team continued to fortify the area. Just then, an enemy ship loomed closer, firing its weapons. The blasts hit the barrier, causing a loud explosion, but the makeshift defenses held strong. "Keep working," Kale shouted, pushing everyone to stay focused. He felt a mix of fear and hope. They were all in this together now, and he needed to protect his new friends. After what felt like hours, the barrier was finally complete. Kale looked around at the team, humans and Xyrans standing side by side, ready to face the enemy. They shared determined glances, understanding that their survival depended on each other. "Here they come," Lyra shouted, pointing to the enemy ships advancing towards them. Kale felt his heart race. "Get ready." The enemy ship fired again, but this time, Kale and his team were ready. They worked together to return fire using the station's weapons. Kale had never used human technology before, but with Lyra's guidance and Sam's explanations, he felt empowered. "Fire now," Sam yelled, and everyone pressed their buttons at once. A wave of energy shot toward the enemy ship, causing it to shudder and pull back. "Great job!" Kale shouted, feeling a surge of hope. "We can do this!" But the enemy was relentless. They sent more ships, trying to overwhelm the station. The battle continued, and Kale felt the strain of leadership weighing on him. He glanced at Lyra, who was still focused on her work. "Lyra, keep reinforcing the hull. We need it to hold," he called. "On it," Lyra replied, determination shining in her eyes. As the battle raged on, Kale noticed something remarkable. The humans were not just good at repairs. They had courage and quick thinking. They adapted to every situation, showing creativity in how they fought back. It inspired Kale. He realized that humans and Xyrans shared a common strength, an ability to think on their feet. "Look!" Jake shouted, pointing to an enemy ship that had broken off from the group. "It's trying to flank us." "Kale, we need to split our fire," Lyra said quickly. "If we don't, they'll hit us hard." Kale nodded, quickly relaying orders to the team. They adjusted their focus, aiming at the flanking ship. Together, they unleashed a powerful volley of fire. The energy blasts connected, and the enemy ship exploded in a bright flash. "Nice shot." Sam cheered, high-fiving Kale. The battle continued, but with each victory, Kale felt their trust growing stronger. They were no longer just the Xyrans and humans. They were a team. As the dust settled, the enemy ships began to retreat. Kale could hardly believe it. They had defended the station against overwhelming odds. Cheers erupted among the crew, and Kale felt a rush of joy and relief. "Together, we did it," Kale shouted, raising his hands in celebration. "We've shown them our strength." The humans cheered, their voices blending with the Xyrans. They had come together in the heat of battle, proving that their differences were not a barrier but a source of power. As the excitement faded, Kale looked at Lyra and Sam. "We couldn't have done it without each other. This is just the beginning of our partnership." Lyra nodded, her face shining with pride. "Let's keep learning from one another." With smiles on their faces, the humans and Xyrans began to clean up the damage and prepare for the next challenges. They had fought side by side, and Kale knew that their bond was only going to grow stronger from here. The cheers of victory echoed through Earth's embrace as Kale, Lyra, Sam, and the rest of the crew celebrated their hard-fought battle. They had successfully defended the repair station against the enemy ships, and the atmosphere was filled with relief and excitement. As the adrenaline began to fade, Kale realized the importance of what they had achieved. They were not just allies in battle. They had become friends. "Great job, everyone," Kale said, raising his voice to be heard over the cheering. "We fought together today, and we won, but we can't let our guard down. This victory only means the enemy will come back stronger. We need to prepare." Lyra nodded in agreement. "We should assess the damage to the station and our ships. We can't afford to be vulnerable." Sam looked around, his face serious. "I'll gather the humans to help repair the damage. We need to work together to make this place stronger. We've got to show the galaxy that we're united." As the crew dispersed to begin their tasks, Kale felt a renewed sense of purpose. He joined Lyra in inspecting the repairs needed on the Stellar Hawk. They moved through the ship, checking every inch for damage. "Look at this," Lyra pointed to a dent in the hull. "We can reinforce this with some extra plating. It will hold better against future attacks." Kale watched as Lyra worked, her hands moving quickly and confidently. He admired her determination. "You've got a real talent for this," he said, genuinely impressed. "Thanks. I learned a lot from my father," she replied, smiling. "But we're lucky to have humans here to help. Their tools and techniques are so different. I want to learn more." Kale felt inspired by her words. "Let's combine our strengths. We can create something better together." As they worked, Kale noticed groups of humans and Xyrans collaborating all around the station. The atmosphere buzzed with energy as they shared ideas and exchanged knowledge. It was clear that their bond was growing stronger with every task they completed. A few hours later, Sam called everyone together for a meeting. Kale and Lyra joined the group, eager to hear the plan. "All right, everyone," Sam began, looking around the gathered crew. "We've successfully defended Earth's embrace, but we need to prepare for the enemy's next move. We know they will come back, and we need to be ready." Jake, a human crew member, raised his hand. "What's our strategy? Should we stay here or take the fight to them?" Kale stepped forward. "I believe we should consider both options. We need to strengthen our defenses here, but we also need to gather information about our enemy. Understanding their tactics can give us an advantage." Lyra chimed in, "I can work on improving our shields and repairing the ships, but I'll need help from everyone to speed up the process." "I'll assign teams," Sam said, nodding. "Let's divide into groups. One group will focus on repairs, while another will scout for information about the enemy. We need to learn everything we can." Kale felt a surge of hope as everyone eagerly volunteered for their roles. They were ready to work together, and that unity was their greatest strength. As the teams dispersed, Kale found himself in a small group with Sam and Lyra, tasked with scouting. They would head out in a small shuttle to gather information about the enemy fleet. "We'll need to be cautious," Kale reminded them. "If we're spotted, we could be in serious trouble." Sam nodded, looking serious. "I'll pilot the shuttle. Just keep an eye out for enemy ships. We don't want to get caught." They boarded the small shuttle, and Kale felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. As they lifted off from Earth's embrace, he glanced back at the station, feeling a sense of responsibility for its safety. The stars stretched out before them as they traveled through space. The shuttle's systems hummed quietly, and Kale focused on their mission. He was determined to protect the humans and the station. "Look!" Lyra pointed at a blip on the radar screen. "There's an enemy ship ahead." Sam adjusted their course, piloting the shuttle toward the enemy vessel. "Let's keep our distance. We'll use our sensors to gather information." As they approached, Kale felt his heart race. They needed to remain undetected. Sam skillfully maneuvered the shuttle, keeping it hidden in the shadows of nearby asteroids. "Scanning now," Lyra said, her fingers dancing over the controls. "I'm trying to get readings on their weapons and shields." Suddenly, the enemy ship fired a weapon at a nearby asteroid, causing it to explode in a shower of debris. Kale gasped. "We need to be more careful. They're more aggressive than I thought." "Got it," Lyra said, focused on her readings. "Their shields are strong, but their weapons systems seem to have a delay. If we can time our attack just right, we might have a chance to strike." Sam grinned. "That's good to know. We can use that information when we return." They continued to gather intel, noting the ship's movements and weaknesses. Kale felt a sense of pride in working alongside his new friends. They were more than just different species. They were partners fighting for a common cause. As they prepared to return to Earth's embrace, Lyra's eyes widened. "Wait, there's a larger fleet approaching. We need to get back now." "Let's go," Sam shouted, quickly turning the shuttle around. They had to hurry before they were spotted. As they sped back, Kale's mind raced with thoughts of what they had learned. The enemy fleet was larger than they anticipated, and they needed to share this information with everyone back at the station. When they landed, they rushed to gather the crew. Kale stood in front of the group, feeling the weight of their new knowledge. "We encountered a large enemy fleet," Kale announced, his voice steady but urgent. "They are stronger than we thought, but we have vital information. Their weapons have a delay, which we can use to our advantage." Excited murmurs spread through the crowd. Sam stepped forward. "We can use that knowledge to plan our next move. Let's strategize and ensure we're ready for whatever comes next." Kale looked around at the faces of his allies, both human and Xyrans. They were ready to unite against a common enemy, and he felt a spark of hope igniting within him. Together, they would prepare, fight, and protect what they had built. Their differences no longer mattered. They were a team, and together they would stand strong against any threat. With determination in their hearts, the crew began to discuss their plans. Kale felt the strength of their unity and knew that this was only the beginning of their journey together. The atmosphere at Earth's embrace buzzed with activity. After the recent battle, everyone understood the urgency of the situation. Kale, Lyra, Sam, and the crew worked tirelessly to repair the damage and prepare for the next encounter with the enemy. Kale walked through the station, observing the groups of humans and Xyrans collaborating on various tasks. He saw humans welding metal sheets onto ships, while Xyrans calibrated energy shields. The teamwork was inspiring. It proved they were stronger together. "Hey, Kale," Jake called from a nearby repair bay. "Can you give me a hand with this?" Kale rushed over, ready to help. "What do you need?" Jake pointed to a section of the ship's engine that was in disarray. "We're trying to fix the power output. I think we need to recalibrate the energy conduits, but I'm not sure how." Kale nodded, eager to assist. "I can help with that. I've worked on energy systems before. Let's figure this out together." As they worked side by side, Kale explained the process. He enjoyed sharing his knowledge, feeling the connection between them grow stronger. Jake listened closely, asking questions and taking notes. "You really know your stuff," Jake said with a grin. "I didn't think Xyrans had this kind of tech knowledge." Kale chuckled. "We've had to adapt and learn just like you. We can all teach each other something new." Meanwhile, Lyra was busy in the main repair bay, where several ships needed immediate attention. She was coordinating with humans, sharing ideas and strategies for faster repairs. "Okay, everyone," Lyra called out, her voice full of energy. "We need to work efficiently to get these ships ready. Let's divide into teams and tackle the most urgent issues first." The crew quickly organized themselves, forming small groups to focus on different parts of the repairs. Lyra walked among them, offering guidance and encouragement. She felt proud to see everyone working together. As Kale finished the repairs on the engine, he looked around the bay, feeling a sense of accomplishment. He loved this new collaboration. It wasn't just about fixing ships, it was about building trust and friendship. Once they finished, Kale turned to Jake. "That should do it. Let's test the engine." Jake nodded, excitement gleaming in his eyes. They activated the power, and the engine roared to life, a deep hum resonating throughout the bay. "Great job," Jake cheered, pumping his fist in the air. "We did it." Kale smiled, feeling a rush of pride. "We did it together." As they celebrated, a loud alarm rang through the station. Everyone froze, and a voice crackled over the intercom. "Attention all crew. A new enemy fleet has been detected approaching Earth's embrace. Prepare for battle." The cheers turned into tense silence. Kale's heart raced. They had just begun to recover, and now they were facing another fight. "Everyone, back to your stations," Lyra commanded, her voice steady. "We can't let them catch us off guard." Kale and Jake quickly joined the others, rushing to the control room. As they arrived, Sam was already at the console, checking the readings. "There are at least 10 enemy ships closing in," Sam reported, worry etched on his face. "We need to prepare our defenses quickly." "Let's not panic," Kale said, trying to keep everyone calm. "We've faced them before, and we can do it again. Lyra, what's the status of the repairs?" Lyra quickly checked her notes. "We've reinforced the shields on most of the ships, but we still need to finish a few. If we can hold them off until then, we'll be ready." "Let's split our focus," Sam suggested. "Some of us can continue with repairs, while others prepare the weapon systems. We need to be ready for anything." Kale felt a surge of determination. "I'll stay here to help coordinate our defense. Lyra, you take a team to finish those repairs. We need those shields to hold." "Got it," Lyra replied, her expression fierce. "Let's move." As Lyra rushed out with her team, Kale felt a sense of pride. They had come together in this challenging moment, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The crew sprang into action, each person knowing their role. Kale took his place at the control panel, working with Sam to monitor the enemy fleet's movements. "Look," Jake shouted, pointing at the screen. "They're spreading out. They're trying to flank us." Kale's mind raced. "We need to anticipate their moves. Let's spread our defenses and prepare to counterattack." As they adjusted their strategy, the tension in the room was palpable. Kale could see the determination in his teammates' eyes. They were ready to fight for their home. Meanwhile, Lyra and her team worked furiously in the repair bay. They were almost finished reinforcing the shields, but time was running out. "Come on, everyone. We're so close." Lyra encouraged her team. "Just a little more." As they sealed the last panel, a loud boom echoed through the station. The enemy fleet had begun its attack, firing their weapons at Earth's embrace. Lyra felt the shockwave hit her, but she pushed through. "We need to activate the shields now." They activated the new shields just in time. The bright blue energy surrounded the station, absorbing the enemy blasts. Lyra sighed in relief. They had succeeded. "Great job, everyone," she shouted, adrenaline pumping through her veins. "Let's show them what we can do." Back in the control room, Kale watched the enemy ships on the monitor. "They're targeting the weak points. We need to defend those areas." Sam quickly relayed the information to the teams. "Focus on reinforcing the vulnerable spots. We can't let them break through." The crew responded with urgency. Humans and Xyrans worked together, moving quickly to strengthen their defenses. Kale felt a rush of pride as he watched them. They had become a true team. As the battle continued, the enemy ships began to retreat, their confidence shaken by the coordinated defense of Earth's embrace. "Keep firing," Sam urged. "Don't let them regroup." With every blast, Kale felt a surge of hope. They were holding their ground. The combined efforts of humans and Xyrans were proving effective. After several tense minutes, the enemy fleet finally retreated into the depths of space. Cheers erupted throughout the station as the crew celebrated their hard-fought victory. "We did it," Lyra shouted, rushing back to the control room. "The repairs held, and we defended the station." Kale beamed with pride. "You all did amazing work. This victory shows how strong we are together." As the crew began to celebrate, Kale took a moment to reflect. They had faced adversity and emerged victorious. Their teamwork and unity had made all the difference. "We'll keep working together," he said to Lyra and Sam. "No matter what comes next, we'll face it as one." With that, the crew returned to their tasks, ready to prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they were unstoppable. After the recent battle, the atmosphere at Earth's embrace was charged with excitement and hope. The crew had successfully defended the repair station, and the bond between humans and Xyrans had grown stronger than ever. As they gathered to celebrate their victory, Kale felt a sense of pride. He looked around at the faces of his friends, seeing joy and determination. They had come together not just as allies but as a family. "Everyone, I want to say how proud I am of what we've achieved," Kale began, standing in front of the group. "Our teamwork and courage made all the difference. We are not just fighting for ourselves, but for each other." The crowd erupted into cheers, and Lyra stepped forward, her eyes shining. "This victory is just the beginning. We've shown that when we unite, we can face any challenge." Sam nodded in agreement. "But we must also think about the future. The enemy will not give up. We need to strengthen our alliance." Kale considered Sam's words. "He's right. We should reach out to other species and expand our coalition. If we can unite more races against our common enemy, we will stand a better chance." Excited murmurs filled the room. The idea of forming new alliances sparked hope in everyone's hearts. Kale could feel the energy shift. They were ready to take on the galaxy together. "Let's send messages to nearby planets," Lyra suggested. "We can invite them to join our cause. They need to know that we are stronger together." With determination, the crew split into teams to craft messages and prepare their ships for travel. Kale joined Lyra and Sam in the communication room, where they worked on sending out their requests for alliances. As they typed the messages, Kale felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Would other species be willing to join them? Would they trust humans and Xyrans after all that had happened? Once the messages were sent, they gathered to plan their next steps. Kale suggested, "While we wait for responses, we should focus on improving our defenses. We need to be ready for anything." Lyra nodded enthusiastically. "Let's build stronger weapons and enhance our shields. We can't afford to be caught off guard again." The crew quickly got to work, testing new designs and improving existing technology. Kale watched as humans and Xyrans collaborated seamlessly, sharing ideas and skills. It was a beautiful sight, showing how far they had come. Days passed, and soon replies began to arrive from other planets. Some were eager to join their cause, while others were hesitant, but the excitement in the crew was palpable. "We have allies," Sam announced one afternoon, waving a message from a nearby planet. "They are ready to join us." Cheers erupted again as Kale felt a surge of hope. "This is amazing. Our coalition is growing." With their new allies, they planned a grand meeting at Earth's Embrace. Delegates from different planets would arrive to discuss their shared goals and strategies. As the day approached, Kale felt nervous but excited. This was a crucial moment for their new alliance. Would they be able to unite against the enemy? When the day finally arrived, representatives from various species filled the repair station. Kale welcomed them, feeling proud of what they had built together. "Welcome, friends. We are here to unite against a common enemy," Kale declared, his voice strong. "Together, we will protect our homes and fight for our future." The representatives cheered, their voices blending in harmony. Kale smiled, knowing that they had taken a significant step toward a brighter future. With their new alliance formed, Kale, Lyra, Sam, and the crew stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They were united, stronger than ever, and ready to fight for peace in the galaxy.